And welcome to another Tom and Shane podcast, video podcast, I should say, I guess. I guess we're video, aren't we? I think we are.
Live video, live.
Live from wherever we are. All right, Tom Eaglehoff, Shane and Tom, and we're here to talk today about social media for a business. And if you have a small business and social media is certainly out there. And I guess the first question to ask, Shane, is it necessary to have a social media presence for your small business? So,
well, I think it's an absolute necessity in the 21st century, with the global network now so active and people doing a lot of work from home, establishing businesses from home. They're setting up their websites and learning the optimum way to advertise on those sites. And of course, we talk about it all the time, but clearly, I mean, the most that are recognized are Facebook and Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Pinterest. I'm not familiar with Pinterest, but
yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah. Well, it is pretty critical. Well, the thing you have to remember about social media is that there are two reasons and two reasons only that people use social media. They use it for either entertainment or education, nothing else. Those are the two things that we use social media for. So we either go there to be entertained or we go there to be educated about something. So
I don't know. I sort of think you need to throw informed in there because that's what my Facebook.
That's education.
And I don't get a lot of education off Facebook, except if I look at the meals that they show being prepared or different. No, I mean being informed by family, what's going on, informed by friends.
Yeah. Well, that too, yeah. Well, that's entertainment. That information is entertainment.
Well, that's what people qualified as that, I guess. Okay.
So today we're going to talk about Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, and of course, YouTube, where we are right now. As a matter of fact, we're on YouTube. And so we want to talk about each one of those, and there are things that you need to know about each one. And I think the biggest thing that you need to know is that you need to be on all of them, but you're probably only going to use two. So why do I need to be on all of them if I'm not going to use them? The reason is you have to protect your business name. You have to protect your business name because there's no protection. Obviously, if you've registered your business name in your state, that's fine. But the only way that you can protect your business name on a social media platform is to join that platform and register your business name as here's my page. So that's the reason. So you need to consider being on all of them because someone could go into, if you have a common name like Joe's Bakery, there may be another Joe's Bakery somewhere else in the world. And so you want to protect your Joe's Bakery rather than going over to one of these and finding out that.
And copyright is a major legal process that's been established in the last 50 years over the initial phase of the internet and so forth. But now the cost of it is like everything else in law, it's exorbitant. So
yeah,
Tom's absolutely right. The Eagle Man's giving you a hot tip today is you want to register. Even if you register on all of them once.
Yeah, you're there. You're there. Yeah.
The point is you don't have to advertise on them all the time or advertise on all of them, but you do need to register. And it's a classic way of enjoining the copyright of your name globally, because obviously once you're registered your name, whatever platform you put it on, they're not going to allow someone else to use the same name. So
right. Yeah.
Copyright costs you nothing, it's just some time. So
Yeah.
worthwhile time spent making sure you sign up at all the platforms. Yes.
Yep, that's absolutely true. And as I say, you're probably only going to use a couple of them because, time. Uh, you are running a business, so time is short, and to post on 4 or 5 or 6 websites every day is not going to be productive for you. So that's why I
And
say,
responses. If you're getting responses from people that have seen your ads and then you know where to focus your interest. The other thing too is you have to pay for it. So it's not as well as time; it's money. So you have to manage your money and manage your time. Find out which site you get the best response from, what demographic, because that's sort of important. Try and find out what demographic people are responding to your ads. And that gives you lots of information to do increased advertising to generate increased sales and increase people's interest in your products.
yeah. Yeah, all of the ones we're going to talk about today have paid advertising, but you certainly are more than willing or more than able to advertise on any of these platforms for free. So it's a great place to test your advertising before you put it out in larger places. You can test an ad on one of these social media sites, and that's a good way to. You can put one ad on one media and another a different ad on another one and compare which one receives the most attention. So it's a great way to do some free testing of your product or service.
Absolutely, and you have to be careful because these networks do ban people, so you have to be very careful of your wording and what message you're bringing across. Because for some reason, without a standard, without a protocol, they just make a decision who they could and can ban. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality of where we're at today. So you have to be careful when you're test modeling or modeling tests of ads to see what represents your interest first.
Yeah. All right. The other rule is that you want people to come to your platform to see you. Obviously. You want to attract people on a regular basis to come to your website. So the rule of thumb is that 70% of your posts should be educational. If you run a carpet store, what you should know before you buy carpet, or what carpet is best with dogs, or what carpet is best for an outdoor deck, or things like that. And only about 30% of your posts will be sales or something like that. No one's going to come to your website on a regular basis if all they see is, you selling stuff. They come to be informed.
That's right. And another thing is, don't waste people's time.
Yeah.
If you have a benefit that you're providing to people to come, tell them up front. Tell them as you're telling the ad. Repeat the benefit several times. Nothing is more, nothing is worse for me to watch, and I won't, is about, this product is great, and I got to tell you my life story, and I got to tell you how I did it, and you're going to wait, or you're going to get your eyesight back, or this and that. And, 20 minutes later, you're going, what am I listening to?
Yeah. Why is this still going on?
You're either going to tell me where I buy it, what it's for, what it costs, or you're not. So, it's great if you want to tell people your story about how you found it, how you created it, where you are, where you're at. That's great. Tell them up front, this is what the product is. This is what it'll do. This is what it can do. This is what it costs. Go to the website. And, oh, by the way, story, because we found it by chance, or we put this together because we did studies. Yeah, don't waste people's time. They won't do it. They're not going to listen to you blabber for 10, 15 minutes to try thinking you're going to sell them or oversell them to buy the product. They're not. It's not going to happen.
Yep. Benefits. What's the benefit to me as the consumer?
Right up front. And what's the cost? Period.
Absolutely. Yep. And is the cost? Do the features justify the cost?
Exactly.
The benefits. Do the benefits justify the cost? So there you are. Yep. Pretty easy. All right. Why do you need a Facebook? Well, it's the oldest one. Half the planet is on it, and
Well, not
it's
half. They're heading towards 2 billion. There's 7.5 billion people on the planet.
yeah.
But it is estimated by 2025, 4 billion people on the planet will have cell phones. And
Mhm.
there's a good chance that Facebook, excuse me, will have access to a vast majority of those. Facebook's important because it's global.
Mhm.
And Facebook's also a very interesting party. If you start having a product that will sell, they'll start approaching you with other benefits like running into the app store. Well, of course, on a percentage basis, but all these things can come to bear. One of the things you want to be very careful of with all of these platforms is don't get involved with any of them. Don't do any deals. Don't do any contract. You can't afford them. You can't beat them. If you're getting something that's getting recognition and it's taking off, advertise, great, go through the process. But if they contact you, my advice is don't get involved with them. There's too many stories out there where people have been abandoned or ruined by platforms because of that. So, just do the, steady road, utilize the numbers that you can see. They provide a lot of demographic numbers, people, ages, what countries. So you can learn a lot potentially from the type of ads and where you're advertising.
Yeah. I haven't heard any stories of anybody being deceived on any of these platforms with advertising, but
What I'm saying is bounced off, like if they, for some reason, they decide to take you off, they're arbitrary. And so,
well, only if it's controversial or something untoward or whatever. They're not going to kick a business off for advertising carpet. They just won't. Okay. The other thing about Facebook, obviously, is if you're reaching an older demographic, Facebook 55 and over is the fastest growing demographic on Facebook. And also, foreign markets, as Shane alluded to earlier, it's universal all over the world, but it's also especially common in Middle Eastern countries, less common in Asia. And the other great thing about Facebook is that there are Facebook groups. You can form a Facebook group and either attract like-minded business owners or start a customer group where you communicate with them with perks and fun things to do and coupons and information and all sorts of things. So great platform.
Yes, that's right. And the difficulty is, of course, that all these platforms are trying to penetrate markets like in China. It's never going to happen. The Chinese will, tease them along, but there's no way the Chinese or oligarchs, particularly like in the North Korea or even the Soviet Union, they don't really want these free platforms because people learn and see too much of what the first developing world is about. And when you see something does or is happening out there, it's pretty difficult. If you can go and look inside a Best Buy or a food store or food chain in America or Europe and see all the products and go, why don't we have those? It's one of those things. So
Yeah.
yes, there's a positive nature to this, but you want to keep it simple and so that you can utilize the opportunity.
Well, I think a lot of businesses are local, so you're probably, uh, most of your contacts are probably going to be in America. I've got contacts in Taiwan, for example. I met a guy on a plane, and we're friends on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And you never know where this is going to go. So the reason for picking these platforms is: are you local? Are you national? Are you international? There are advantages to all of them in certain ways, and that's why we're talking about them today. The next one we want to talk about, of course, is YouTube, second largest search engine to Google, and and of course owned by Google. So there you are too. So that's a pretty good deal. And so the great thing about YouTube is you can produce a full blown commercial with your cell phone for free. And embed it on your website, put it on any of the other social medias, and it's a great tool. And the other great thing is you get insights as to how many people watch your video for how long. All sorts of demographic stuff is available to you. So I strongly suggest a business page on YouTube, and post there as much as you can, but use the video aspect of YouTube. It's really great to be able to do that. You can go out to a job site and make a video of the job site, throw it up on YouTube, how to do something, whatever it is, and you'll find it really works.
That's terrific advice. It's a great analysis of YouTube as well that Tom's giving you to utilize for your business, particularly if you're online and you want to access global markets.
Yeah, or local markets too. Either or. The other thing about we should touch briefly. I mentioned all of these have paid advertising. With Facebook and any of these, you can describe your target market. You can put what zip codes you want your Facebook ads to be in, what states, what countries, age group, income levels. All of that stuff is available on any of these. So by all means, take advantage of it. The next one is Instagram, which is also owned by Google. And the nice thing about Instagram is that it's more for the teens and the millennials. You're going to find it's people under 25. So if that's your target market, and women are more active than men on Instagram. So if your product's unique to women, you might want to consider Instagram. The other great thing is if you post on Instagram, being owned by Google, searches for your product or service are going to be higher in the search than they would be if it was on another platform. So same with YouTube, and Facebook is not owned by Google, but Facebook is Facebook. So, that's why we recommend using at least two of these, and I would recommend Instagram or YouTube and Instagram as two, with Facebook being the other one, depending on your target market. Right?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
It's a matter of what product you sell and what target market you're looking at. That's right.
That's true. Snapchat, kids primarily. The downside of Snapchat, whatever you put up is gone in 24 hours. So you've got to post every day. So it's not really conducive to business. It's more for kids to show videos and fun things they're doing and whatever. I wouldn't use Snapchat that much for to promote your business, unless you're really going after kids and you're going to have maybe a buy of the week or something like that that's going to come up every day and then be gone tomorrow. So that might be a way to that you could use Snapchat if your target market is teens, preteens, and that group. All right. LinkedIn is next, and that's business primarily. LinkedIn is the number one choice of people looking for employees. That's where you go if you're looking for employees. You post your job on LinkedIn. 97% of businesses looking for employees post their job on LinkedIn. So it's a business to business platform. Let's see. It's mainly executives, high profile people. And the other nice thing about this is, and what I use LinkedIn for, is the groups. There are entrepreneur groups. There are all sorts of business groups on LinkedIn. A lot of good information there. You can communicate with people, ask questions, whatever, post things inside the group. And in many cases, it's a great way to build your business with information from people who may have more experience in the business than you do. So it's I really like LinkedIn for communicating with groups of people. So if you own a carpet store and you want to talk to other carpet store owners, I'm sure there's a group somewhere, Shane.
Yep, you have end of roll sales. You definitely want to talk to other carpet companies.
Yeah. Well, and salespeople too. There's a lot of sales groups on LinkedIn. If you're a salesperson or just starting out learning the sales process, LinkedIn groups might be a great way for you to start. So, a lot of great information over there. And Twitter. Why do you need Twitter? Well, Twitter, your chances of going viral on Twitter are better than any other platform. So if you want to go viral, Twitter's the place you need to be. So it is, let's see, Twitter primarily is teenagers, like Instagram and Snapchat. It's popular among teens, millennials. They started using it in high school and whatever, and they are adopting it as they come out of their education and go into mainstream life. So the downside of Twitter, 240 characters. So you are limited. You got to be concise in what you're going to say. And of course, you can post links to videos and everything else there. Links to your website, links to articles. It's a great way to use Twitter. And you were on Twitter for a number of years, Shane.
Yes, I did. I started out with, of course, Twitter and Facebook back in the 80s and 90s, and into the, past the millennium into the 2000s. So yeah, it's an interesting platform. And like you say, if you're going to have the success of going viral on a global basis, it's Twitter, baby.
That's the place to go. Well, that's why the ex-president picked it. I think it was the best way to reach his market. Like it or not, it was certainly effective for him. So, but I think that's a glowing demonstration as to how it works. And, everybody who's anybody's on it. Elon Musk is on there, and, Bezos and everybody else, Bill Gates and all the big guys are there. It's something to consider. And again, you can advertise on Twitter as well as any of the other media platforms that we've talked about today. Last one is Pinterest. Pinterest is an interesting website, or I guess a social media platform, I should say. Women, by far. Primarily, it's women. So if you're reaching women, Pinterest is the place to do it. And again, you can segregate where you want your ad to go or where you want your post to go. So there's all kinds of categories that you can post in. If you need recipes, Pinterest is where you got to go, Shane. If you want recipes for anything, that's where you're going to find them. Crafts, all kinds of crafts, how to do things, how to make stuff. how all kinds of craft stuff is there, and that's why it's so popular with women. So whether it's a good advertising medium, I don't know. The jury's still out for me on that one. I think I'd rather be on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and some of the other more where you got a little more flexibility. Twitter. So, one of those four would probably be the main place I think I'd prefer to be. So, all right. Final thoughts on social media, Shane?
Well, I think it's a fantastic mechanism for people that are online and have online homepages or websites to sell products, particularly on with a global market, and being able to mail it and send it to people after getting people to order. And it does have personal value for local brick and mortar stores in a lot of ways, but again, it's more for a larger audience on a larger scale. But as Tom says, you are able to determine or specify locality. So if you decide to use it for your brick and mortar operation, you can limit the expanse of it to to near where your store is, and for people to find out and advertise product on it. So it for the dollar in and potential response, it's a good choice to start with.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. Well, the biggest benefit of social media is it's free. There's there's no cost to be on any of these platforms, and you can run ads whatever you want. And as I say, just remember the rule that 70% of your posts should be educational. Otherwise, people aren't going to come back just to see a slew of ads? You wouldn't buy a newspaper if it was all ads. So, that's the rule. So, if you want to, or you wouldn't watch a TV show if it was all ads. I mean, even the Super Bowl has 70% of the content is the football game. So, by all means, that's the rule you need to remember, is to educate people. The other thing about education is that it develops confidence in you and your business. It displays your expertise, so that people know that hey, this guy makes a lot of sense, or this girl makes a lot of sense, and the information that's posting here, and I'm going to tell my friends about this, this page, and that's how it grows. And it's if you're in a couple of these places, if you're in 3 or 4 places, boy, if that produces something like 10 customers a week that you weren't getting, that's a pretty good deal.
Yes, it certainly is.
Yeah. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. And hey, we appreciate you guys being here, and thanks for your participation. And we'll be back with another podcast on Thursday. So we'll see you then.